Let's talk about Sinners, the new movie from Ryan Coogler with Michael B. Jordan. So we're going to be giving our overall thoughts without any spoilers, and then we'll give a spoiler warning before we get into it. Alex, do you want to go ahead and start with your thoughts on Sinners?
Sure, yeah. Kind of like you mentioned before, spoiler alert, I freaking love it. I know we mentioned it, but I didn't see any trailers. I did know one thing about it, which I guess is, I almost wish I didn't know. I'll explain in spoilers, but there's one thing I did know, which I think I texted it to. When I texted it to you, I mentioned it.
Yep.
But I almost wish I didn't even know that. But it didn't ruin the experience. I still loved it. But so I knew nothing about, I didn't know. I just didn't know. And I loved it so much. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I originally was like 9 out of 10, but I was thinking about this movie for days after I watched it. So to me, it's a 10 out of 10 for my enjoyment. I could see there's a couple things that I thought could have been better, but that being said, I know saying that contradicts my 10 out of 10, but that being said, I still think it's a 10 out of 10. I mean, even those minor things, I loved it. And there's one scene in particular, my God, it was amazing.
Yes.
I can't wait to talk about that.
I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for me, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm similar. I was between a 9 or a 10, and I was really thinking about it, and I'm like, what is it that would give it a 9? I couldn't come up with really anything that would bring it down to a 9. I loved it. I'm going to give it a 10 also. I thought it was the best movie I've seen this year. The music in this movie is incredible. It totally makes the movie
like its own character, really.
Yeah, it really is. It does start off kind of slow, but I personally liked it. It really got me to understand the characters and learn about them and all the little intricacies. So it was kind of a slow burn at first, but I enjoyed it every step of the way. And then the performances were great. Michael B. Jordan was incredible, but all of the performances were good. They did Hailey Steinfeld was great. Preacher Boy.
The main guy was good. And this is his first movie
that's
ever.
Crazy. He did a really good job.
I know, he did great. And this is literally his first freaking movie.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I didn't know that. So I'm like, oh,
yeah,
dang,
I saw that after.
Good job.
Yeah, no kidding. And then, there's one scene that blew me away. I've been thinking about it. It was a cool take on the genre and very well executed, and I really enjoyed it. 10 out of 10. Best movie this year so far.
I agree. Ryan Coogler, the director, he did Black Panther and Creed.
Yep.
I don't know if you ever saw Creed.
I never saw Creed, no.
But his directing was really good. And just kind of had that Tarantino / Jordan Peele kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, it definitely did. I agree with both of those. Yep.
And one other movie, but I'm not going to say because it'll be spoiler. I literally don't want to spoil a single thing about this movie.
Should we just get into spoilers then?
Yeah, go see it. You won't regret it. And it's listed as a horror movie, but in my opinion, it's not really a horror movie.
Yeah, it's
thriller, I guess.
Yeah, with a lot of character moments. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a big horror fan anymore, but and this wasn't scary.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, if you haven't seen anything about it, go see it. Don't look up any trailers. Just enjoy the movie. It was really fun going in without having anything spoiled. It was a good experience. So let's get into spoilers. Yeah. So spoiler alert for Sinners.
So your wife didn't want to go see this?
No, she did not. She saw a little bit of the trailer it was like a YouTube ad and you could skip it. So we saw a few seconds of it and she's like, oh, I don't want to see this.
Oh, she's missing out, man.
Yeah. I do think the trailer, even though I went back and watched it because I was curious, I don't think it really gives away that much, which is good. I'm glad when trailers don't do that. No.
All I saw was this poster. And I saw that as a vampire movie.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I didn't even know this was set in the 1930s. I had no clue the time period. I literally knew nothing except for Michael B. Jordan and vampires, which is why I'm like, okay, I'll go see that.
Yeah, I think I saw the Tommy gun scene, so I knew it was. I thought it was around that time, but I didn't know it was vampires. I knew it was some kind of creature, but they didn't really give away that it was vampires in the trailers. So
yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but I think you hit on the nail, man. The music.
Oh, the music's so good
in this. All of it.
Did you see who did the music? It's the same guy who did the Mandalorian intro and the music.
What's his name?
Ludwig Göransson or something like that.
I didn't know he did The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
How did I not know that? No, maybe I did know that.
He did Oppenheimer, Black Panther, but I'm pretty sure he did The Mandalorian.
So I definitely recognize the name.
Yeah, he did. He did at least the opening theme. I don't know if he did the whole show, but...
Oh, and I love that opening.
Yeah, it's a good one. He's good, apparently.
But yeah, the music, it elevated this movie for me. It's such a cool concept of like, music, someone having like soulful, true music, bringing people together, but also kind of attracting, monsters.
Yeah, and like transcending time. That was a really cool theme of like bringing all the souls of all the different time periods together, and attracting the vampire. That was really cool.
Yeah, like it's just a cool concept. And then, like you said, so like it's kind of split into two halves. Like I feel like the first half of the movie is more of like a time period kind of piece, and which isn't a bad thing. Like you'd think, oh, I'm going to a vampire movie, but you don't really see vampires until an hour or so into the movie.
Yeah, like over halfway through, it seemed like.
Yeah, and it wasn't a bad thing. Like it was interesting. The characters were interesting enough without the vampires.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan, like you said, I almost forgot he was playing twins.
I didn't know
thought they were two different actors.
I didn't know that going into the movie, and he did a really good job with that.
I know. You forget when you're watching, like, oh wow, like it's one person.
Yeah.
And I do like how they kind of did the colors, red and blue.
Yeah, helped to, separate them. And he did a good job of giving them each such a distinct personality. Smoke more of the serious one and watching over everything, and then Stack more of the laid back, having
like
fun
kind of person.
Kind of vibe. Yeah,
exactly.
That has to be hard, playing the two different characters so differently.
Yeah, especially the scenes where they're talking to each other. Yeah. It's like...
And like, they're like passing cigarettes back and forth, and like, I didn't notice at all like how do they do that so well? That was good.
I don't know. I think some scenes, obviously they split the screen. I think some scenes they did like threw his face on a body, like another actor.
It never pulled me out of the movie though. Yeah.
Isn't it weird how they do that? They don't like hire twins to do it. They do it.
Yeah. Well, it worked in this one. He did a good job.
It was like same thing with Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan.
That's true.
But even the new guy, what did I say his name was? Miles Caton, I think, or Caton. His first movie. He's like the main character, really.
Yeah, and he did
his
great.
voice was great.
Yeah, for sure.
Music was great. The acting was great. Like I would have never known this was his first movie.
Yeah.
But you're right. All the characters, all the actors was good.
Hailey
Steinfeld.
Yep, Hailey Steinfeld. That was an interesting character to me. It was. Because like now she's pretty white passing, but back then like she would be considered black because she's a quarter black, and there was even a line where the vampires were like, why is she in there? And it had a lot of interesting race stuff, which I didn't expect going in to see a vampire movie how much it focused on that, but I mean with the time period it makes total sense.
And also with like the the Irish vampires, it is an interesting concept, like, oh, we don't care, like you could be whatever. We're all family. It's like luring them, like you live in a racist world, join us vampires, we don't care, we're all together. It was interesting.
Yeah, I feel like he did a pretty good job, the main Irish vampire guy, of like putting out some arguments that some people could be like, yeah, I see that. Like, he was an interesting bad guy. I enjoyed him.
He was interesting. Yeah, I do want to talk about the vampires. So first, I want to go through the other actors. What's her name? Who Smoke's love interest? What's her name?
Annie.
Or sorry, Annie. Okay, that was her name, Annie.
Well, are you talking about Hailey Steinfeld or the other lady?
The other lady.
Yeah, it was Annie. It's Wunmi Mosaku, the like witchy lady who knew all about that. Yeah.
I thought she did great too.
Yeah. There was one part in the movie where she's like, okay, we're dealing with vampires. And I loved how everybody else was just like, yep, I agree. Like nobody was like, what? That's not real. Like everybody's like, okay, I see it.
Even that one guy, he's like, or I think some of them said it like, I wouldn't believe it, but I saw it. I see it, so it's true. I didn't believe in vampires, but I do now.
Yeah, she was a cool character.
And she was kind of the one that knew the lore of the monster. Like, 'cause she's like a good witch, I guess you could say.
The voodoo lady or something. Yeah, she was doing some spells earlier on in the movie.
But they tied like, with Smoke. That was Smoke's, right?
That was Smoke, yep.
Wife or ex-wife. Or current wife.
Or just love interest or something,
Or love interest. They lost a child. So you had that, kind of side story that kind of fleshed out Smoke's character. Yeah. Probably why he's hardened a little bit. Mm-hmm. So they gave each twin, like you said, and then it's Hailey Steinfeld with, what's the other twin's name?
Stack.
That's right, Smokestack.
They're the Smokestack twins, yep.
That's right. Yeah, Hailey Steinfeld's character is interesting too, because it gave Stack like he loves her, but he doesn't want to hurt her.
Yeah, kind of the like protector by not being with her kind of feeling. Yep.
And who played what was the guy's name? The big guy's name who was guarding the door?
Cornbread.
Yeah, Cornbread. He was cracking me up.
Yeah,
man.
he was funny.
Cornbread was funny. That's right, Cornbread. And then the other guy was pretty funny too. The harmonica.
Yeah.
The harmonica.
Delta Slim is what it says his name is here.
Yeah, he kind of had the comedic parts too. But then there was a scene when they were driving in that car and he was telling that story. I thought that was a really good scene.
Yeah, that was the scene where...
You know what scene I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
they're driving and then he starts singing the blues just out of nowhere. Or like he's telling a story and then he just starts, singing blues. That was a good scene. And I heard that, I think I saw an interview that wasn't scripted. He just started doing that because it felt right and they just went along with it. And that was a good scene. I liked that a lot.
That's even better, yeah.
Yeah, because it really shows how much the hurt that they go through was put into the blues and how that like transforms the music. And that was really good.
Yeah, that whole first hour or so, like since I didn't know what this movie was necessarily about, like I knew it was a vampire movie, but I almost kind of forgot like an hour in. I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't going to be like, maybe they'll just be like a vampire shows up at the end or something. I don't know. Because it was like an hour or so in and there's no vampires.
I know. I was just like along for the ride. Like, all these characters are cool. I'm just along for the ride. I don't know where this is going, but man, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Then that scene hit where, the vampire runs up to that house and let me in. And that was a scene where it kind of shifted.
Yeah, for sure.
I wish I saw more of those like Indian vampire hunter dudes.
Those Native Americans, that was so funny to me that they were chasing the vampire and then it got dark and they're like, okay, bye. And then you just never see them again. It's like, those are the smartest people in this movie.
They're smart. Yeah, and I really thought they were going to show up again. Like I thought the Native Americans were going to show up again and they did not.
They're like, we're hunkering down for the night.
Yeah, they're like, don't let, or
don't
if he's in there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that scene, that was the first scene where I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. This is, I guess, what they mean about vampires, because it's been an hour that I haven't seen a vampire. And then I noticed in that scene, like, also the music changed a little bit. Like, whenever you see the vampires, it's more of like the electric guitar, like, sounds like a typical vampire
like
music.
Darker and yeah,
kind of like a rock, like, that was terrible, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So the whole first half of the movie is the twins are back in town. They're getting a group together to throw kind of like a party, right?
Yeah, they're opening a juke joint.
Yeah, a juke joint.
They buy that like mill or whatever it is from that one guy and get people together to open up the juke joint.
That's where Preacher Boy came in because he could play guitar. They picked up, the other people, Cornbread to be the bouncer, and
Delta Slim to play the piano, and harmonica.
So it was like almost like the whole movie takes place in one night, in 24 hours, which is interesting. So it definitely is a slow burn.
Yeah.
But in a good way. Mm-hmm. And yeah, once they hit, what's it called? A juke joint?
Juke joint, yeah.
That was kind of like the main hub point for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and that was where the best scene in the movie happened.
Oh, God, yeah. No, we haven't even talked about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that scene. They're all at the juke joint, and then they have Preacher Boy start playing, and man, it was like the scene was one shot. It felt like there was probably some cuts in there hidden, but like it felt like one shot, and then it just like started bringing in all these other he connected the souls of his ancestors and brought in all these like different musicians from different time periods, and it like going through all of them, one guy playing the electric guitar, it transitions to like, I don't know, Chinese dancers, and man, the music in that scene was so good, and the visuals were awesome. Everybody was just like dancing, having a good time. It was such a cool scene to see that like combination of all those different types of music and how it blended it all. It was so good.
Dude, I 100% agree. My theater was pretty packed.
Yeah,
and
mine too.
I saw it during the week, on like a Tuesday, and it was packed. And man, dude, when that scene came on, it started off, with him singing, and it started doing all that. I've never I don't know how to explain it. I've never seen a scene like that ever before.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And the whole theater was just glued onto that screen.
Yeah.
Like you said, the one shot, and bringing people together, from the past and the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know how to explain it, dude. I've thought about that scene so much since I've seen the movie.
I know, I want to see it again. man, it was that good.
I was gonna say, like, that scene by itself is worth the freaking price of admission.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was like a 3.5, 4-minute scene too. It wasn't like it was just like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and then it transitioned, like it starts showing the whole thing like burning down, and you see the vampires watching, and the main bad vampire is like, you can tell he's like drawn in by this music, and that's where that's how they find them. And yeah, it was like the impetus for the whole rest of the movie.
Yeah, that scene. It's like in that scene played, I was like, yeah, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was trying to like be like, oh, maybe it's a 9 out of 10. I'm just like, no, it's a 10 out of 10. Because everything before that was great too.
Yeah, it was.
And you're right. I liked how that scene kind of transitioned to, the vampires come from their point of view, like seeing it burning down, and they're just attracted, like it said in the beginning.
Yep.
Attract demons.
And it's interesting that the vampires want to like steal their music, because he does talk a big game about how like he gave that one speech we talked about earlier, how they steal all the stuff from you, but like the vampire's trying to do it too. He's trying to steal Sammy so that he can use that music for himself to connect to his, his people.
Ancestors.
So yeah, it's an interesting connection there.
That is interesting. When he said that, yeah, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So that makes sense why, demons or vampires or someone would be attracted to, in this lore, why they'd be attracted to musicians like that, because can really bring in the past and future. Yeah. Obviously, vampires are thousands of years old.
And it's talked about how their like souls are trapped on the earth, and so like being able to get souls or whatever it does from his past or something would be, I could see how that would be pretty enticing.
Yeah, and I love, like, this is skipping, we can go back to this, but like, I don't know if you stayed for like that mid-credit scene.
Yes, I did.
It really tied back into that too, in a sense of Stack wanted to hear him play one last time.
Yeah.
Like he can bring in, I'm surprised they didn't show
smoke or something.
Yeah, they didn't show any like smoke or any like ancestors or anything around during it, but I think it was more subtle.
After that, what did you think of the actual vampire part of the movie?
Yeah, I really liked it. It's crazy. This could have easily been like no vampires and just like them versus like the KKK or something.
True.
Like it didn't even need to be a vampire movie.
Yeah.
But I freaking loved it.
Yeah, definitely.
I really enjoyed the vampires and the actors who played it. They were creepy and interesting, and I love the way like their eyes almost looked like metal or something.
Yeah, their eyes looked really cool.
Yeah, and like the scenes, like when Hailey Steinfeld, I know we're bouncing around, but when Hailey Steinfeld's character goes out there, the way they play with like the darkness, you can't really see their eyes in that scene until pretty much it's drooling.
It's too late, yeah.
And then even like when she's walking back and you just see him like freaking jump.
Yeah, fly up. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the vampires. I do think, like I said, if I had like one, it's not even a criticism, it's just so like this movie, a lot of people have compared to From Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know if you've seen that.
I think I did a long time ago, yeah.
But it's like, the first half is one thing and the second half is vampires. So the only thing I think that movie does better is I think the action's better, like the vampire fighting is better. So like if I were to have a minor critique, I think that the end fight could have been better.
I get that.
But that being said, like, it didn't deter from the movie at all.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it was very chaotic, but I feel like that was kind of on purpose, like a choice. And it did work for me, but I can see how some people would. I mean, it would be cool to see more of the vampires fighting and see what they can do and stuff, but I don't think this movie needed it. It wasn't necessarily about that.
No, and exactly. Like, I was just saying, like, people like the vampire slaying, Buffy, or like From Dusk Till Dawn, they're slaying like 20, 30 vampires. It's just different, but this isn't that kind of movie.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't dock it a point or anything, because I don't think that was the purpose, is to be like goofy like that.
And I liked how they really stuck to some of the vampire lore, like how they have to be invited inside, and that's how they figured out. Like those scenes were funny, like Cornbread's been bit and he's like trying to get through and or asking to come in, and she's just like, well, why can't you just push past him? And then they all realize like, oh man, he's a vampire.
Smoke's like, you've been in and out all night and you haven't asked us to come in.
Yep, smart.
So what? Why are you asking now? But yeah, I thought the last little bit was great. And then, I thought it was kind of clever how the vampires used Hailey Steinfeld, because obviously they're going to let her in.
Yep.
After they bit and changed her. And then, I mean, if you're a Hailey Steinfeld fan, you'll like this movie.
Yeah, she was good.
And obviously it's like a vampire movie, so it's like a little sexual, some scenes with Hailey Steinfeld. So if you like her, they're because she goes in and obviously seduces Stack. You know, I actually did not expect him to like turn that quick.
Yeah, and then having Smoke have to deal with that and like reconcile that he's gone, and that was tough.
Yeah, like I wasn't expecting one of the twins to already like die, quote unquote.
And Hailey Steinfeld as the vampire, like after she bites Stack and then they come in, her line of like, we're gonna kill every single one of y'all or whatever she says, like she delivered that and she's like dripping in blood. It was creepy. Yeah, she did. She gets shot and then just runs off. Yep.
So pretty much after that, they're pretty much stuck in the barn that they had bought, and deciding what to do, to wait it out or not.
There was a funny scene in there where they find a guy who they think's been bit, but then they throw him out and then they just realize that he was just drunk and spilled wine. That was pretty funny.
Like, oh,
poor guy.
And you see freaking cornbread darting over there.
Yep.
And then what's her face? She let her husband out to go get the car, right?
Yes.
And then obviously he turned into a vampire, and then those conversations by a door were just all interesting, trying to get them to bite him in.
Yep.
Well, apparently once you're turned into a vampire, your leader, they can all know each other's thoughts and minds, so they use that against, I don't remember the lady's name, like we'll go to give your daughter a visit if you don't let us in, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's rough. And then they have everyone, since they think that one person's been bitten, they have everyone eat garlic, and none of them are turned. And then that lady gets just fed up and invites them all in, and then everything kicks off. Just craziness.
Like, lady, I mean, I get it, but like at the same time, no.
Yeah.
And it happened quick. That's why I was like, oh, it's happening.
Yep.
And that's kind of like the whole last little bit, all the fights.
And then Smoke is fighting Stack in the building, and it's set up so that he overpowers Stack, and then he could kill him, and then it cuts away back to Preacher Boy and the main vampire dude.
Yeah. And before we get to that, the one other, I really like that like Irish jig or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
The song they did, I thought that was really good too. And that was I thought it was like creepy too. It was like funny and creepy.
Yes, it was. And I was not expecting an Irish vampire jig going into this movie, but it worked, and it was a good scene.
It's like this movie played it because it's not a musical. Like the music is a character. Like it's not just people going into song in the middle of a scene.
Right.
Like they're actually like, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's not a musical, but it's just think of music as a character. But yeah, that scene was really, those two scenes. I like that scene and obviously the transcendence scene.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I had to talk about that because I thought that was a really good scene too.
That was a really good scene.
The main guy did a good job as the Irish vampire.
Yeah, and just like seeing Stack and Mary out there dancing along with it with their eyes all glowing, it was like you said, creepy, but also kind of funny because it's an Irish jig. And like, it was like, how do I feel? How am I supposed to feel in this moment?
I know, it's like very cult-like creepy, like you said, eyes and drooling, and at the same time, it's like they're dancing to like an Irish jig. But it was good. And that Irish vampire, he had to have been old. I was reading like those coins he gave Hailey Steinfeld and stuff. I mean, I think he was thousands of years old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, then, like you said, if we skip back to what you were saying, it's Preacher Boy
getting baptized by the vampire.
Yeah, pretty much. And uses his guitar to kind of weaken him. Oh, and when you weaken the main vampire,
they all feel it.
Yeah, they all can feel it. Because I saw people were complaining, and then that Smoke just shows up right behind him. Well, they're all like freaking injured. Of course he could be able to run around the vampires.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just the way they showed it made it look like he just appeared to stab him.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that's how I guess the first ending.
So that ending was good, but I really liked the second and the middle credits scene. How did you feel about that scene?
Are you talking about the scene where he goes and kills all the KKK people?
Well, that too, actually. Yeah, that was first, huh?
Yeah. I guess there's three kind of endings,
right.
or four kind of. But
Yeah.
I mean, that was a cool scene. I mean, it's always cool seeing KKK get killed, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, in the context of a movie.
Because at some point, the main vampire tells them that the guy who sold them the place for the juke joint is like the Grand
We're gonna kill him
Master,
anyways.
Grand Dragon of the KKK, and they're going to come back and kill him. So then Smoke sets up after all that to ambush him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was pretty cool. It was kind of cathartic seeing them all get blown away by Smoke.
Yeah. Well, and there was like that emotional scene where he saw his daughter, I think, and his lover.
Yeah, as he was like dying, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like an emotional scene.
It was.
And then obviously him just freaking spraying that KKK leader.
Yep.
Very Tarantino, that too.
That was, yeah, for sure.
But that's what I mean. Like this could have literally been like no vampires, like them versus like the KKK.
Yep.
I love the fantasy spin to like historical.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm a sucker for that. So
yep.
Okay, and what ending are you talking about? So that was kind of the second ending.
Yeah. And then during the mid-credit scene, so at this point, it's like, it's kind of sad because like you think Stack's dead, Smoke's definitely dead, and then Preacher Boy's just kind of all on his own and he's gone off to go pursue music. And then in the mid-credit scene, you learn that he did have a good music career. He's like done it all. He's old now. And then Stack walking in with Mary. And at first I was like, oh man, what's going to happen here? But it ended up being like very, not hopeful, but it was like happy. They all had their lives. They're like, obviously Stack and Mary are like enjoying whatever's going on with their vampireness. They're like decked out in bling and they're doing good. And Preacher Boy had a good time. And then they talk about how like that was, is it Stack that says it? Like that was the best day of his life or something that day? Or maybe
Preacher House or Preacher House. Preacher Boy says it first.
Yeah.
He pretty much says that's the worst day of my life, but this might sound weird, but it's the best day of my life as well.
And then it cuts to them like in the car, and then like that whole day.
And then Stack pretty much said it was for him too because that was the last day he saw sunlight.
Yep. And
that was the last day, he was with everyone.
Smoke and
alive.
Preacher Boy, yeah.
So last day he saw his brother.
Yep.
And the last time he saw sunlight.
Yeah, so it ended up being kind of a weirdly happy ending, which I was not expecting. Like, everybody...
Yeah, I wasn't either. Because then he wanted to hear his music again. Because he's like,
cool.
The music isn't the same anymore. Can I hear your music, one more time?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a beautiful ending because, and he said obviously that he promised Smoke that he would
stay away,
Preacher Boy alone. That's why he let him live.
And then he offered to turn him into a vampire, I think, right? And Preacher Boy said no.
Nope. But yeah, I thought that was... And there's an after credit scene, which I actually didn't stay for.
I didn't either. I saw it online somewhere,
Yeah, so did I. And it was just him playing for the church, right?
Or in the church. Yeah.
In the church, yeah. But yeah, I mean... I thought it was going to end... I don't know why. I guess I feel like most movies like to sequel-proof it. So I thought it was going to end with Smoke living and he's just going to freaking vampire hunt for years. It'd be like a Sinners 2 and he's like a professional vampire hunter.
I could see that. I'm kind of glad they didn't go that way, but...
I didn't either. I mean, yeah, I am too. I mean, it's a good thing.
Yeah. And they could still do sequels and prequels and stuff. Like, I would love a Smokestack Twins prequel, like with them doing all the mafia stuff, but...
With Al Capone. Or you could even do it with the adventures of Stack and Hailey Steinfeld.
Yeah, true. And like, even if they don't, this is such a self-contained movie and it's like not based on any IP. It just came out of nowhere and it's great. And that would be fine original. With me too. Yeah, original. I love that.
That made me love it even more. Like Ryan Coogler, written, directed. There's not based off of a book, a movie, comics, nothing. It's just his original story. And I thought it was awesome.
That's pretty rare these days.
Yeah. And like, that's why like when I texted you, I'm like, I want to watch this. And I had nothing. I knew nothing about it. Saw no trailer. So like I had no expectations, but I just know it got good reviews. So I'm like, okay, I got to see this.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did. And I'm glad I told you.
For sure.
I've been dying to talk about this, and this is one I will 100% watch multiple times through the years. I know I will.
I agree.
The second it goes on streaming somewhere, I'll probably watch it again.
Yeah.
Like that soon.
I probably will too. Yep.
Yeah, man, go see it. I'm just gonna say that. Go see it. If you're watching this review or you were on the fence, just freaking see it. You'll like it. You'll love it.
Yep.
Especially if you appreciate music.
Yes.